Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Calmfire Comics, and we're here to talk about Obi-Wan and Anakin, issue number 2. I'm Calmfirerich.
I'm Calmfirenate, and guys, we got a lot of hate because we didn't like the first one. Okay, we got a lot of people really upset with us, but guess what? We liked the second one a lot. We felt like this was
Hallelujah.
more what we should have gotten with the first one. Richie, what'd you think right off the bat?
I enjoyed this one because it picked up when the other one started to get good. And look, the other comic was not that good. I feel like they wasted a lot of time. We didn't need all that stuff set up. We already know these characters. Other than the fact, like, we needed that location, we needed that planet. The Jedi distress call that they received was really interesting, and maybe like a page or two worth of flashbacks just showing that the Emperor was interested in Anakin at a young age would have been fine. But when that one started to pick up to get good is where this one starts, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I was wondering how they're going to get out of this situation. Got these guys holding the guns at them. Classic Obi-Wan uses the Jedi mind trick. It's like his ace in the hole. Out of all the Jedis, he's the one that uses it almost all the time in every situation, and I thought it was awesome. That was what he decided to go with.
Yeah, I mean, and it was fun. He didn't even get to finish it. You know, he was trying to do it, and then you got this airship coming in, and these are we learned that these are the closed. I believe, yeah, or the open. I don't remember which
Yeah.
is which. I think it's the closed. This is the one that the other people are fighting against. Obi-Wan goes up, takes out the airship. I mean, classic. Just throws his saber, and the scene when he's walking and he's got his robe and you got the saber coming back at him. That was a great look. I love that a lot. He comes back and basically Anakin, he's rescuing this guy. He doesn't know. I mean, he's doing what he should do. He's rescuing this
He's a
guy.
Jedi. He's
and
not going to let a guy
immediately-
die. He's not going to let him die on purpose.
Right, and immediately the two girls are like, "No, you should have let him die. He's closed. He's closed." So then they have a lot of going back between the two of them. They're at that moment where they're like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna kill you. No, you're gonna kill." So they both pull guns out, and I love it. Like Obi-Wan kind of looks at Anakin, and he like gives Anakin the okay. Man, Anakin just cuts their sword, just pulls out the
Yeah.
saber, just completely put their guns, cuts them in half, and he's just standing there, and it was a cool scene.
Yeah, it was awesome. There was a few things, just for everything that happened right here. There was a few things we got together. One, the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin, excuse me, where Anakin's really proud of Obi-Wan. You know what I'm saying? Like, Obi-Wan does a few things, like when he jumps up, and he's just like, is he trying to get himself killed? And he's just like, who is that guy? And he's like, that's my master, Obi-Wan. No, it's not likely that he's going to die. Like, you could feel the pride that he had for his master.
Yeah.
That relationship they had them when they come back, the trust that Obi-Wan gives Anakin when he's just, like you said, up on the mountain, just kind of gives the nod of approval, like, yo, handle this. I want to see what you can do. Now, with him taking down that ship, bro, tell me that did not seem like a classic Vader move. Like,
It did.
if you read the Vader Down series, it happened a couple of times where, like, it was just like an explosion in the background. I mean, Vader's notorious for throwing his lightsaber. I've never seen Obi-Wan do it. I just thought I was like, yo, that's very Vader-esque. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it
hey,
was.
did Anakin get that? Like, is that something he picked up? Like, hey, let's put that in the back of my mind. I thought it was really awesome.
Yeah,
the
no, it
parallels
was
there.
pretty cool. It's you don't get a lot of like. I mean, we have gotten a few moments, but it's always good moments to see Obi-Wan be cool. Be bad A, go out there and do something really cool, and that was definitely it. And you're right, you get to see a lot of that. Like Anakin really looks up to Obi-Wan, like he's the best. And it was
Yep.
funny because in the original, I mean, at the beginning of this, when they had the little scroll down, it said he was 12, so that gave us an actual age of how old Anakin was. He's 12-year-old. Imagine a 12-year-old looking up to the guy that's like your mentor, your master. And I mean, dude, he is, as far as he's concerned at this point, Obi-Wan is the top of the top. That's what he sees. So it's really cool to kind of see that dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah, I liked it. It was interesting, and Obi-Wan ends up, he does his force, because those people are just like, didn't even phase. They got their guns cut in half, and they're just kind of like, bump it, pull out knives. Like, we want to kill each other no matter what. So Obi-Wan, like, he disbands of their knives too, and he's just like, come on, Anakin, we got to go. We can't help these dudes. They're hard-headed. We've got to go. We've got bigger things to take care of. Well, then you're just like, you've doomed us to death. we have to do this or that. And so Obi-Wan's like, okay, look, we'll get you guys to safety. Then we get these creatures, which is cool. Now we got like another force that, I always like being able to see the Jedi kill stuff, okay? And now when you got creatures, you kind of can get that. Even then, Obi-Wan's like, no need to kill them. They're just being themselves. Use the force to calm them down. Now,
right, they're just mindless. He's like, there's no reason to fight them. He's like, they're mindless. So he uses his powers to stop him, but then Anakin can't because he can't control it. He's not able to do that.
So what does he do? He gives into his fear this time. And it's like no hesitation. It's just like chop off the head, and then you pan out, and you get a vision of what's going to happen to these darn sand people that he kills later on.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of bodies laying down next to him.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. When he's standing there and there's literally like a bunch of those creatures laying around him, I was like, oh wow, this feels like a flashback.
Yep. It feels like a flashback, really a flash forward. But
yeah, right, exactly, a flash forward.
You got a hint of what was going to happen. Now, this was an appropriate flashback when he goes back to Palpatine, right? Because now it's like you see him, and I thought it was perfect. Now I was excited to see it because it's like, I can't use the Jedi Force, so now it kind of goes back to his training where, it shows that he hasn't mastered that ability just yet and whatnot. And then we go over to Palpatine. And more interest in him, I still find it odd that the Jedi never picked up on the fact that Palpatine was that interested in Anakin, where he was at 12 and he's like, let me take Anakin on a private mission and walk around the city and stuff like that.
I feel like we're going to get a lot of that. We're going to get to see, we already knew it from the movies, but we're going to get to see a little bit more his interest at an even younger age and kind of see exactly what he was trying to accomplish by being around him. So that'll be interesting to see because that kind of leads up to what happens at the end, which I don't know if maybe just his being around him kind of led to that. But the fact that at the end, they put together this ship, they've decided to work together to move forward. I mean, they're basically, when they mention that they're basically going after the distress signal, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now they're interested in it. So they notice that. They point that out to each other, Obi-Wan and Anakin. But then as they're moving forward in this particular thing, Anakin makes a strong point, and he's pointing to the two women, and he's like, well, that's what Obi-Wan thinks. He's like, they're very similar. And he's like, or to us, and he's like, no, they're not, Master Padawan, that's not the same. He's like, no, I'm talking about the Jedi and the Sith. And that was really important because you're starting to see how Anakin is starting to look at him as being the same thing. They're not as different as each other.
We're just misunderstood.
Which is exactly, and that again, of course, leads to the ultimate, conclusion. But it's very interesting that it's starting to come to him at a young age, which I'm sure has probably a little bit to do with what we're going to see in the flashbacks between him and Palpatine.
If that's what they're going to develop in the flashbacks, then I'm excited for it because we don't get a lot of, in the movies, and this is all canon. This is why we're talking about the movies, is because you kind of jump from being a young boy to he's just kind of a teenager, like he's almost done, like he's ready to be a master type age, and we don't get to see that gap. This is also filling that gap that his training as a Sith has started way back.
Yeah, exactly.
And with
way
Palpatine,
back
look at these two pictures that I got up right now. Like you're gonna have one of him and Obi-Wan as his Jedi master, and then another picture almost looks just like it with him and his Sith master. So he's getting training from both, which is why you see this constant struggle from this character out, which is good because we need Anakin fleshed out better than what was done in the movies.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought it was great. And when he said that, dude, I was like, because he said us. He didn't say, oh, that's kind of like the Jedi and the Sith. He was just like us. Like, it almost seemed like Sith, Jedi. I mean, I know that's not what he meant, but yeah, and it makes you think. Why are the Sith and the Jedi so hated? They have different, views and opinions, but like they're like mortal enemies. And Anakin's already struggling with the fact that maybe we're just misunderstood. Like maybe there's good things. Like if we work together, like if we use both, how powerful we could actually be. So
right.
I don't know. This was cool. Again, a lot better comic than the first one. I'm still going to stand by that, and I'm thankful, which we were hopeful for, right? I mean, we were
Yeah, we knew it
hopeful
would
this
get
was going to
better.
pick up. So it did. I'm glad it didn't waste any more time. It jumped right straight into it. So guys, down in the comment section below, let us know what was your favorite part of this particular comic. What did you like? And how similar did you think that Obi-Wan move and future Darth Vader moves were about him taking out that ship? Look, like, comment, subscribe. Guys, until next time, we out.
See ya.